All right, let's jump right in. We spend so much time focusing on our skills, our technology, our marketing funnels, but what if I told you that one of your biggest business drivers has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? We're talking about your physical clinic, not just as a backdrop, but as an active, powerful engine for your bottom line.
So let me ask you this, and I want you to be honest. Is your clinic's design actually sabotaging you? It sounds harsh, I know, but most aesthetic practices, even the most beautiful high-end ones, are accidentally built in a way that subconsciously screams, think about leaving. And that little mental nudge towards the exit, it's costing you big time.
This really breaks it down. On one side, you have the processing space. You know the vibe. It's efficient, it's clean, it's transactional, it gets the job done. But the most memorable part of the patient's visit is walking out the door. And then you have the immersive sanctuary. This is a space that's engaging, it feels private, it's a whole experience. And the exit? It's forgettable because the patient is completely lost in the moment with you.
So let's pull back the curtain on how even the absolute best clinics fall into that processing space trap. We're going to look at some of the most common and, honestly, the most damaging immersion-breaking mistakes that are so easy to make.
Do any of these ring a bell? That big open floor plan might look chic, but if a patient can see the front door from a treatment area, their brain is already mapping its escape route. A waiting room with a huge window overlooking a busy street? That just keeps them tethered to their stress, to traffic, to their to-do list. And that big reception desk? If it feels like an airport check-in counter, you've just made the entire interaction feel transactional from the word go. Every single one of these things shatters the map.
Okay, so what's the fix? The solution to all this is a really powerful but actually very simple idea. We have to stop thinking about our clinics in terms of walls and rooms and start thinking about creating what we call a patient bubble. And this definition just nails it. The patient bubble is a sanctuary. It's a space that's been meticulously designed to make the outside world, with all of its clocks, its pressures, its distractions, just completely melt away. Because inside that bubble, the only thing that matters is the patient and the journey you're taking them on.
So how do we actually build this bubble? The good news is, this isn't about some massive, expensive overhaul. It's about being smarter. It's about psychological design. So let's get into the playbook, the actual architectural secrets to make this happen.
All right, strategy number 1. I want you to completely forget about wide-open spaces. The real key to immersion is creating a sense of privacy and deep personal attention, and we do that with intimate treatment zones. So instead of one giant room, start segmenting your space. Break it up. You know, studies show that smaller spaces with lower ceilings or cozy alcoves actually make us feel safe, protected, and way more engaged. Think about each treatment area less like a workstation and more like a private, personal aesthetic pod, a little world where your patient is the absolute center of the universe.
Okay, next up, let's talk about how people move through your clinic. Now, this is going to sound totally counterintuitive, but the most efficient path, a long, straight hallway, is your absolute worst enemy when you're trying to create immersion.
And this quote from behavioral science is so telling. A straight hallway lets a patient see the entire journey from point A to point B. A sharp 90-degree turn forces their brain to wake up and make a choice. Do I go left? Do I go right? Both of those things snap them out of that relaxed, almost dreamlike state we want them in. But gentle, winding paths, they keep the mind flowing, curious about what's around the next bend.
Now this next one, this might be the single most powerful strategy of them all. You have to make time totally irrelevant. Inside the patient bubble, a clock on the wall is the ultimate immersion killer.
And I mean absolutely no visible clocks. Anywhere. If you've got windows, that's fine, but use frosted glass or arrange furniture so patients aren't just staring out, watching the sun go down and thinking about what time it is. Your lighting needs to be consistent and warm, so there's no way to feel the shift from morning to afternoon. You are literally creating a timeless zone.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? A timeless, winding sanctuary. But what about the bottom line? Does all this psychology stuff actually translate into real business results? You bet it does. Let's look at the proof. Check this out. This isn't hypothetical. A clinic in Miami did this. They created those intimate aesthetic pods and used curved pathways. The result? A 34% increase in their average ticket size. Then a clinic in LA went all in. They built a winding gallery, got rid of the clocks, hid the windows, and their patient satisfaction scores shot up by a staggering 41%.
Let's just sit with that number for a second. 34%. A 34% jump in what patients spend per visit. That didn't come from buying a new laser or launching a new ad campaign. That came from changing how the space feels. That is a direct line from creating immersion to growing your revenue.
And this one is just as crucial, a 41% leap in satisfaction. I mean, what does that lead to? It leads to happier patients, glowing online reviews, and powerful word-of-mouth referrals. An immersive experience isn't just about a one-time sale. It's how you create clients for life.
And if you're wondering why this is so effective, here's the hard data. When you take away those time anchors, like windows and clocks, patients actually perceive their sessions as being about 30% shorter than they really are. And when a treatment feels faster, more pleasant, more relaxing, patients are much more open to talking about other services, and they leave feeling amazing about the entire experience. So let's bring it all home. The evidence is pretty overwhelming, isn't it? Your physical space is one of the most critical and, honestly, most ignored assets that you have. So the only real question left is, what are you going to change? Here's what you absolutely need to walk away with today. First, your space is an active business tool. It is not passive decoration. Second, your new mission is to hunt down and destroy all those little immersion breakers, the clocks, the straight lines, the views of the parking lot. Third, your goal is to build that patient bubble using privacy and flow. And finally, the ROI on this stuff isn't just a theory. It is proven in both your bank account and in your patient's happiness.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to mull over. The very second a patient walks through your door, the walls of your clinic start talking to them. They're either saying, "Welcome to your quick transactional appointment," or they're whispering, "Welcome to a sanctuary. The outside world can wait." What do you want your space to be saying?